Bill Cox, Castlemont Farms in
Powhatan, Virginia.
All right, he's going to talk with you.
All right. We're going to tell you a little bit about an adventure that we've been on, my wife and I, for the past 4 years. Castlemont Farm is a certified organic specialty farm. And India, raise your hand, please. That's one half of the labor force. I'm the other half, okay? So we grow sequential crops. You can see some of our specialty crops up here. We sell to farmers markets and we sell to select restaurants. We're in the retail first party business. Now, we're fortunate today to have a person who is the real expert on growing ginger in the mid-Atlantic world. Richard? The farm at Red Hill. Okay, Richard is the wholesale market for fresh ginger. We're talking about 12 to 15,000 pounds this year. So another world, another point of view, and that's what we're going to give you today is our point of view. It's not necessarily the right way or the only way. It's just the way that we've found and what we've done. 2010, we were sitting right here where you are, trying to figure out what in the world did we want to do with ginger, if anything. And so on the way home, we started dreaming about ginger. This is a picture was taken in our farm at 2011 about how would it fit in with our farm model. Our farm model says it's going to be grown organically. It has to have a cachet and a specialty niche to it. But most importantly, it has to fit our growing model. Now, this is a little busy slide, but it's something that we use every year. We've got 3 different seasons as a small farmer. We try and equalize the value of the crops that we grow for every season, so that I want winter or fall to be just the gross income to be the same as summer. And we also want to cover, since we're at farmers markets, we want to cover those 2 swing months of June and September where you're moving from one season to the next season. So this is the way in which we think about crops. So as a result of noodling and looking, we said, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to order a high tunnel because we wanted to grow it in a high tunnel. And we'll go through that why, the why of that in a minute. And we made 2 basic assumptions. First of all, there was no local retail fresh ginger market. There wasn't one. There were people talking about it. There was a few sprigs here, there, and yonder. So we were going to have to find our own way. And our assumption was that we would sell principally to restaurants. And we said, okay, we're going to spend $13,000 on a high tunnel. What if we can't grow it? What if it doesn't work? So we'll put half of it in raspberries. And if the ginger doesn't work, we know we can sell raspberries. We'll just fill it out. So those are 2 assumptions we made. Both of them were dead wrong. Okay? That's the way it works. Now, to put ginger in perspective, you need to understand that you're growing a tropical plant in a temperate climate. You've taken it out of the world it wants to live in, and you've put it in the world of Virginia. Temperate climate means 65 to 85, tropical means it wants to live at 65 to 85 degrees. Don't we all? But we don't have that for the 9 months, 10 months you need to grow ginger. And so this requires us to do a few things. What we don't have is much real information about growing ginger in a temperate climate. If you go out looking for information, there's a 20-year-old text that deals with India, okay? Not my wife, but the country. And that doesn't help us. All the research from the University of Hawaii is in a tropical climate. That doesn't help us. And so we've got really 2 people that you can turn to. One is Dr. Raffy, 20 years of playing with ginger in different parts of the world, started the program here, got us involved. And Susan Anderson is East Branch Ginger. She's down in Chapel Hill. Susan got involved with ginger because she was working for Johnny's. Johnny's was looking at ginger as offering that ginger seed. They decided against it. Susan picked it up and developed her own company. At one point, she was related with Puna Organics. They're very much separate today. So you don't have much information. If you want to grow Brussels sprouts, you can pull up the computer and you can find article after article after article. What we don't know are varieties. We don't know seed size versus yield in a temperate climate. So as you start and you move down the road, we're fortunate to be this close to Dr. Raffi, because you can get your hands to him, you can talk with him, he'll help you. But also understand that you're going to develop your own set of skills if you're going to be successful. Second major problem is seed source. Disease has wrecked ginger throughout the world. There are two seed sources that you can plug into for safe seed. Susan is out of the market this year. Puna Organics in Hawaii has a limited supply. They are already out of white ginger. There's no white ginger available from them at all. There is yellow ginger. And so you can either move to the grocery side, you can move to the wholesale side. We stay away from there for two reasons. First is disease. I don't know what kind of disease that it's carrying. And the second is post-harvest treatment. Has it been rinsed in a chlorine rinse which they do to inhibit sprouting? Is that going to have an impact on me? You heard what Dr. Raffi said earlier today about growing your own ginger seed plants for ginger seeds. We're going to have to go there. We've tried to stay away from it. It's just another skill that we didn't want to have to develop. We didn't want to have to spend more energy and more parts of our farm doing that. But I think we're all headed in that way. But this is the second major problem you have to overcome. Now, Hawaii disease, this is a little messy. This is a production slide. What it says is between 1998 and 2001, ginger peaked in Hawaii, 18 million pounds worth, $8 million, and then it kind of tumbled downhill. 2008, 2009, we're talking about 2008, 2009, 1.6 million in production. And sales of 2.2 million. So disease absolutely took out the ginger production in Hawaii. As a grower, that has my attention. That drives almost every decision we make in growing, is trying to find a way to minimize the impact of disease. You're not going to eliminate it. You're going to face it at some point. Now, the first phase of growing ginger is pre-sprouting. Dr. Raffi went over it. You take a piece of ginger, you put it in a growing media. It's dark. It takes me normally 28 to 32 days for my first sprouts to come up. This is our first attempt. We had these trays of ginger in our basement. We had them heated, and now we're moving them out to the high tunnel. You see how pretty our brand new high tunnel was, okay? There's no dirt, there's no nothing. You see where the raspberries are going to go. We then took you see the plastic on the side, we put that over the top in the evening and we heated it. What you're doing with a pre-sprouted seed in a high tunnel environment is you are pulling it together, you're clustering it, so you heat a minimum amount of space. If you're farming, your two biggest problems you've got are labor and energy cost. Anything you can do to minimize that. So you're clustering this ginger in a way that reduces the amount of energy. All right, now the floor gets a little dirty, and now we begin to have a little bit more, and now we've got racks of ginger inside of a hanging tent that's heated with trays of gingers on the side. We've done it in containers, we've done it in trays. I'll probably do something different this year. But we're keeping it in there in the evenings. Nighttime temperatures, you want to get them above, I want to have them above 60 degrees before I transplant my ginger. And when I transplant my ginger, I'm going to lose the ability in a high tunnel to heat it. And so that normally means for me the third week of May. Mr. Harrison, in a greenhouse, will have major growth going on in his ginger before I get mine out. So but it's a cost equivalent. And so you have to decide how you're going to do it. This is Mr. Harrison's place. This is one of his greenhouses, and this is ginger growing in March. And that's beautiful in March. I mean, that stuff is really going to pump. Now, we're going to move to what happens when you take it out of my cluster and put it out into the greater greenhouse. We grow in containers. There's some containers here. There's some information on it. These bags came out of the nursery world. And we chose these for a couple of reasons. One, the price point on them is very attractive because we will have 5 years of use out of them. Each year we take them and we run them through a washing machine with a bleach solution. We sterilize them. I think 80% of our first bags will make it to the 5th year. We were paying $3 a bag at that point. So the price is negligible. You'll see there's some blue ginger there and a turmeric plant that are growing. The one with the frame, which we don't use, is used for trees. There's literature up here. I'm not selling this stuff. The manufacturers sent it to us. There's information up here, and they sent us 50 bags. And so if you want one of the bags, take it. It's yours. 50 bags in that stack was something I could handle container-wise. If we took hard containers, the storage capacity out of season was a major problem for me. So that was the second reason that we liked this. This is ginger growing in our high tunnel. It's one of the years. Once we've got it out in the high tunnel, we switched from worrying about keeping it warm. Now I want to keep it cool. Heat is your major enemy. Past couple of years in Virginia, we have not had that blast of heat that lasts for anywhere from a week to 10 days where we're above 95 every day. If you have that with ginger, you're going to really begin to stress it out. As a result, you can't see it in this picture, you can in this one, we've got shade cloth. Ginger grows very well in shade conditions. Don't worry about shading it. So if we have that burst of really hot weather, we've got shade cloth to help us, and also we're using well water, which is at 57 degrees, and so at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm going to cut on our drip spray system, and I'm going to begin to water each one of these plants and begin to knock the temperature down. So you got to heat it up, you got to cool it down. Okay, 65 to 85 is where this plant is really producing the poundage for you. All right, here it is, another picture. You can see the little drip irrigation system a little bit clearer here. We've got it's a 360-degree sprayer in there. We use Berry Hill Irrigation down at Clarksville. They're wonderful people to deal with and are very responsive. And this is this year. We grew both white, yellow, and blue ginger. Now, we're not going to grow blue ginger next year. The ginger market in Virginia is not sophisticated enough for us to warrant to have all of these different varieties, particularly since yellow ginger and blue ginger, the hands are significantly smaller than that of white ginger. And so I personally like yellow ginger the best. I think it's a wonderful product. That's what I want to eat. That's what I would tell a chef to use. But the fact is, I'm in the pound business, okay? I'm selling pounds of ginger. And so when it's small, that cuts into the bottom line. You've got your ginger grown. You've got to sell it. So what do you do? Teresa talked about terminal markets. Yours was yesterday. This is last week. Atlanta, Chinese ginger for $2.20 a pound. Baltimore, $1.93 for China. Peruvian, $1.76. Thailand, misspelled, $2.33 a pound. If you use our normal crop, which is 1,000 pounds, that's what we gear at. Our cost, ex labor, ex capital cost, is $1.70 to $2 a pound. You just got to understand that if you're selling against mature ginger, you've either got to move your cost down significantly, scale, Mr. Harrison, or you've got to make sure you can sell it as a differentiated product, and the best thing is to do both. And so, but you got to understand, once again, this is one of the fundamentals that you're working against with imported mature ginger. We divide our customers into 3 groups. And this is just our experience over time. Remember I said we thought the restaurants were going to be our big market. They were not. They're buying for spice, for flavoring. Now this is all well and fine. At the farmer's market, our average customer for spice, take it home, cook it, is 1/3 of a pound, $3.50. We're selling it for $12 a pound. That would take, with a 1,000-pound crop, with a 6 to 7 week market, that takes 3,000 customers that come back to you. And they got to line up and you got to explain to each one of them what they do, how to use it, and why they want it. You can't make it, okay, just on spice customers. Not if you want to sell any. Institutional buyers. Oh, excuse me, let's go back to this. If you're going to be in the spice market, flavoring market at farmers markets, exactly like Teresa said, you have got to tell people, first of all, that you have it. It's becoming much more available than it was 3 years ago, but people still don't understand it, don't know who has it, and you have to help them use it. And you're in the, Teresa said so well, you're in the education business. Unless you can make your customers successful with using that ginger, they will not be back, and you need them to come back. And then there's your wonderful customer that comes to you in July and says, I can't wait on ginger. I bought a pound from you last year, and I've almost used it up. Ma'am, this is not a trophy. Don't keep it, okay? Let's use it. And they're so proud of themselves, but that's what happens, okay, in that market. Institutional buyers, grocery stores, beverages, and prepared food processors. In 2010, our first crop, there's Miss India, Elwood Thompson. Hey, Tommy, you recognize that place? And $12 a pound. She spent 7 hours there. We sold 10 pounds. Okay? You would sell much more today. But one of the things that we quickly found out was that ginger needs to be sold. It's not yellow squash you can put up on the counter. It really needs to be sold. Now, we're going to move forward, and he didn't know it, but I'm going to pick on Mr. Harrison. Okay, here's 2013 Whole Foods, $14.99 a pound. I didn't see much of that move. I don't know how much they moved, but I didn't see a lot of it moving in the 2 or 3 times that I was at the store. You ready for 2014? $9.99 a pound. Talking with my friend in the wine department at Whole Foods, it's moving. He sees a lot of it, okay, in baskets. It is a combination of awareness and some type of price point that turn the consumer on. Kroger. This is last Saturday. That's also Mr. Harrison, okay? $7.99 a pound, okay? You see the difference in display and how they put it out there. And that'll make a significant difference in their sales. Now, We tried grocery stores. That's not our forte, and we're not in the wholesale market. We love Elwood Thompson, but that just didn't work for us. But we did develop a customer called Hardywood Park Craft Brewery. They hadn't opened yet when I went to see them, and their gingerbread stout, which will be released this coming Saturday, which is an event in Richmond, got a perfect score from Beer Advocate of 100, which is just never happens. And it has developed a cult following, which has been good for us. Now, the reality is, if you want a beverage or any processor to use your product, you must get in at the beginning, or you're going to have to tell them why they're not going to use $2 Chinese mature ginger, or if Mr. Harrison finds them, why they're not going to use his ginger. And so you must get in at the beginning and get the product pricing, basic product pricing built with your ginger and whatever you're charging at the start. Just going out and knocking on doors is going to be a tough road to go. The last piece, which is one of the ones that Teresa talked on, and it is for the retail trade where you're going to make your money. It's the health food side of the business. Our health food customers spend anywhere from $2 to $4 a purchase versus, the third of a pound, $3.50. So they're buying significantly more because they're juicing it. Okay? We love our juicers. They drink it and they come back for more. Patricia, you've got to have a bunch of them.
Yeah, I think the majority of it's being juiced.
So health food is hard to grab hold of. It's fragmented. I don't think I'm going to a yoga class. But we find if you start looking for health food avenues, they're out there. And you'll develop a cadre of customers who will come back to you, who believe in your product, and who are buying it for a very special and important and personal reason to them. Every year we have a little bit of ginger that we just put in the freezer because we know we're going to get phone calls from one of two folks. This is not to make money. We just want to have it around. We have women who are having serious morning sickness problems, and they want some ginger, and they want fresh ginger, and they want organic ginger. And we have people that are in chemo who need some help. And that's not a money-making operation. We're not out looking for them, but they're there. They're people that really want that product and will pay for it if it's available. Because there wasn't much going on when we got started in ginger, we felt like one of the things that was important to us was to begin to brand ourselves as a ginger producer and to make it known on the web so people could find us. That's all it was, so that if they put in ginger, Virginia, you're going to find us. And this Washington Post came down and did a 2-page article for us in 2011. This is all my wonderful wife's ability. New York Times 2013 quoting me on ginger. Last week NPR talking about our farm and talking about all the things we do, but also ginger. And so one of our strategies as a small producer was to develop a profile where customers could find us. I can't tell you any direct sales as a result of any of these three things that I've shown you. I cannot show you that. However, 2 weeks ago, we have 2 ladies from New York who were visiting friends in Amelia County, and they seek us out because they want to take ginger back to New York City. Okay? It's 5 pounds. It's a feel-good thing. but they're those folks that you can contact and find if you have a profile in the marketplace. Let's go back over ginger speed bumps, the things that you really have to concentrate on, in our opinion. One, it's a tropical plant in a temperate climate. You've got limited resources to help you. So you've got to be on top of your game, and you've got to be a good grower. And then you've got to plug into the resources that are local, Dr. Reza Rafi. Clean seed is so limited and so important. Battling disease is so important that you have to do everything you can to make sure this works for you. And you don't have a lot of options. Pricing. Mature ginger, wholesale, driven by imports. That's what's happening with mature ginger. Young ginger, which is what we sell, the wholesale price is driven by the farm at Red Hill. This gentleman has made a significant commitment in time and resources. And so if you said, I think I want to sell a lot of ginger and I'm going in the wholesale market, you've got to arm wrestle in a significant way a producer who has worked very hard at doing what he does well. So that's really it. There's some speed bumps. There's some wonderful opportunities. We're going to double our production this year or for next year. We believe in the market, and it's been a good crop for us. Thank you.